Hello, everyone. Nice to meet you again. So we will be talking about service point today. Another topic after looking at the customer information and device information on the V model. So service point is another very important concept in utilities. Um, and let's start. Okay, so a few topics we need to go through. First one is the service point overview again. We will look at the V model again and see where the service point sits in this V model. And then we'll look at why we think service point is very important and look at service point hierarchy. Installation event, which links service points and device. Routine management, which is a topic connecting service point, especially metered service point, to the billing concepts. And last, as a tradition, we will look at the entity model as well for service points. Okay, first topic, SP overview. So service point is on the right hand side of the V model. A lot of people are saying when they see the V model, they think premise is the physical location and service point is kind of a logical meter point. That's actually not true, okay, because premise is a physical location, which is address, but service point is also a physical location, but service point is more around where the meter sits. So let's say for a residential home, we might have one address, but we might have two service points, one for gas, one for electricity. And the meter can be installed at different locations within this address. So don't think about it as just logical. It does has a lot of the um, physical concept in it, because when we are looking at the field service, a lot of information for the service point need to be stored in the system. So, for example, if there is the meter is in a cupboard which require a key to open it, these information are important for the supplier. This very funny information I found in early career. And so the first time I saw the service point, one of the special notes on the service point was Mad Dog. Actually, there is a really it actually means Mad Dog, and actually that means in this home or location there is a dog, and people need to be aware of. But that's really a very bland um, description in the system. Okay, so second part we're looking at the importance of service points. So why do I think service point is important? Um, so in today's world, when we are looking at a service point, we're more thinking about consumption. Okay, so we more thinking about what is the property, what is the attributes of the service points. How do we actually price the service point? How do we actually build the service point? And that is all down to the service point is being used as a single point or measure when we are serving a customer. Now, I look at that from three different aspects. So first, from a customer perspective, a service point identifier, normally in UK we call it MPAN for electricity, is the main information when a customer query a meter related question. So you will see your MPAN number on the bill. And very often, if you have a due field, you might have an MPAN for electricity and MPRN for gas. And these are the information agent would actually require if you raise any question or raise any queries. Now, from the supplier perspective, service points store the details for supplier regarding almost every stage of the customer life cycle. So at the very beginning, during sales, the supplier would query equals check to make sure the service point attributes are up to date for the customer, and also during the life cycle, all the billing, consumption, because the consumption is service point based, will be kind of anchored around the service point for the customer. A customer might have multi-site, which means multiple service points, but consumption and the bill, especially the billing components like all the financial transactions, will be stored related to a service point when it comes down to the energy based calculation. Okay, and the last part is for the market. So in UK we have market message. So market message is serviced on the service point basis as well for both electricity and gas. Right, so let's move on to the service point hierarchy. So why do we need a service point hierarchy? So service point hierarchy means I have a child service point and the parent service point, and so they are being linked to represent a physical or a logical representation. Okay, so I'd like to give two aspects here when we talk about the service points. One is the multimeter has at the same site. So for example, at the same location, you want to have multiple service point. You will have multiple service points, especially when you are talking about electricity. You could have multiple meters, although not all of them are billable, but you do need to store these and relate these meters in the system. So in that case, you will have a kind of logical parent service point which connects all these meters in the life cycle. I mean in the V model. And also the second scenario I can think about is for a meter hierarchy. So for example, in the water business, you will have the main meter and sub meters. So the main meter is actually aggregated meter for the sub meter. So in that case, sub meter adding together consumption should be equaling to the main meter, and a lot of the business using this information to store the meter structure and also to detect any leak or any overflow in the in this example. So that's two structure I can think about in real life. Okay, number four, installation event. So installation event is actually a concept in C2M connecting meter and service points. And technically, it is connecting um, the service point with device configuration because, as we mentioned in the last session, device is a physical device and device config is a logical representation of the meter, and it's also linking to the actual registers as measuring components. And this logical representation is linked to the service point over time. So at one time, uh, at a service point, there can be only one device active. Okay, so over time you can have multiple service points, but it must be only one installation event active at a time. And also there are cases where let's say the meter need to be repaired. We need to track whether the physical meter has been taken off and then, I mean, removed and then restored. So this is more around asset management. So you can actually um, uh, use the installation event to track this kind of events, and also with this installation event, we are able to work out how many days the consumption should be used for any consumption calculation, which is very likely to go onto the bill. So this level of information can be stored on the installation event. Okay, route management. So route management is about managing the order of service points within the measurement cycle and the routes. Um, for me, this concept is more around. So you can use this concept normally for these menu meters, but actually, what has been very often used is it's worked together with the billing bill cycle. So the bill cycle and the measurement cycle, they need to be stay uh, aligned, and then what happens is the measurement cycle schedule happens a few days before the bill cycle, and the measurement cycle schedule date is aligned with bill start date. So in that case, we will be able to make sure the meter is in the system before we start to bill, and also we can align with the dates when billing start to estimate for each bill cycle schedule. Okay. We, I mean, there have been cases where we've seen the alignment is not in place in some of the production issues the in the billing system, and what happens is the bill cycle is updated, but the measurement cycle is kind of not updated and left out. The system is not able to decide where measurement cycle is starting, so it can't be built. So this we need to very much take care of as a kind of a BAU activity, but that also tells the very close relationship for the non-half hourly meters, especially the monthly billed or quarterly billed meters in the system, how they are linked to the bill cycle. Okay, so let's go to the last section, which is entity model. Uh, I tried to uh, paint all the jigsaws in the V model. We have seen pretty much everything on the right hand side: device config, measuring component, and device event. Now we connect installation event with service point and also device config. In that way, we link up uh, service point and device, and we from there we can know whether it's on and off. Um, Installation event have a couple of attributes which is very important. For example, uh, for the smart meters, normally what we use is we use a BO for the smart installation event, and it's including features like commission, decommissioned, uh, connect, disconnect. For the normal meters, it will just have connect and disconnect lifecycle for the installation event. For service point, as we can see, we will have SP routing, geolocation, which is normally used for the service point identifier like MPAN. And also, if we look at the device config stores all the information and the link to all the information like device and the measuring components. So within this picture, we should be able to see very clearly how the service point is linked. We will be talking, I think, in the next or after the next session, we start to look at how the measurement is added into the this big data model, and so where each of the objects will play its role when it comes to the measurement, because different parts will control and validate the we call it initial measurement data, and that is a very exciting chapter to talk about. Um, that's it. Okay, great. Thanks everyone, and hope you like the video, and see you next time.